Please can you remind me if you'll be so kind, staring out into space, asking God to hear my case, trying to think of all things past. How long will my memory last? With purple angel, purple angel, purple angel, you're next to me.
Well, hey everyone, this is Lori LaBey with Alzheimer Speaks Radio, and I am so excited to talk to you today because we're going to talk about some free education that's coming out to New Jersey. But before I introduce our guest today, I always like to tell people a little bit about Alzheimer Speaks because we're always picking up new listeners around the world. Bottom line, Alzheimer Speaks was started because my own mother lived with dementia for 30 years, and it changed my life, and I wanted to raise everyone's voice so that we could get connected to services, products, and tools all around the world that can help us as families and business professionals and researchers do a better job for those who are caring and living with this disease. Bottom line, we're an advocacy-based company providing multiple platforms to shift our dementia care from crisis to comfort around the world. And we also help companies expand their brand footprint by leveraging our platforms and getting the word spread of their services. And our listeners, I couldn't do this without you. You guys are so loyal, and I'm so thankful to each and every one of you. And I appreciate your likes, your clicks, and your shares. So as you're listening to this show, again, if you wouldn't mind liking and sharing the show, because it's important to get this information out to other people. And you've got people in your own circle of friends and, business professionals, all of those things, your Twitter tribes, your LinkedIn colleagues, your Facebook friends. There are people that are living with this disease and not knowing how to cope, not knowing where to go. And the more information that they can see about it, the more normal it's going to make them feel, and they'll be able to reach out and grab it. I'd also like to invite you to maybe be our next guest. And I love when you guys reach out to me and say, hey, I've got a story or I've got a product or a tool that I'd like to share. So just, go to alzheimerspeaks.com. There's a big contact button up in the upper right-hand corner and shoot me an email or call me and leave me a message. I would love to hear your story, talk about having you on as a guest. As you all know, alzheimerspeaks.com is our main website. And so from there, you can get information and projects we're working on. One of them that I love is Dementia Chats, where I facilitate a conversation with a group of people with dementia, and they tell us what they'd like. Who would have thought? Simple concept, very fun, but super insightful. Now, I want to shout out to Dementia Action Alliance. They are having their second North American Dementia Conference, June 20th through the 22nd, and that will be held in Atlanta, Georgia. You can go to daanow.org, daanow.org. Many of the voices that you will hear at that conference are people living with dementia, and last year's was phenomenal. They had a great response. I also would be amiss if I didn't shout out to Dave at Calendar Cards, and Calendar and Cards are both start with a K, who has developed a memory system to help those diagnosed manage their day-to-day life. On top of that, he offers a free directory for the Memory Cafe. So you can go to memorycafedirectory.com, see if there's a Memory Cafe in your area. And if you have a Memory Cafe that's not listed, just reach out to Dave. He would be more than glad to get you listed and up and running in that directory. Last, I have to tell you about something that I find so exciting. It's something called stall catchers, and it's a research project that has turned into a game where you and I, as everyday citizens, can become scientists. And they are having a big megathon April 13th at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time, and they want to get 100,000 participants to play their game, Stall Catchers, for an hour. And then they will also answer research questions during this whole time as well. But their goal with this and I just think that this is phenomenal. Their goal with this is they said if they can get 100,000 people to participate for that hour, they will save a year in research time. Now, know that you and I aren't going to individually make decisions. More than one person will be looking at a slide and looking for these stalls and vessels. But you could go to megathon.us and check that out. Now, let's get to our show today because it's going to be a fun one. I was just out in New Jersey last year, and they've called me back again. And so I'm going to introduce our two guests, and it's just going to be a fun conversation. First, I want to introduce to you Mary Beth Lewis. Mary Beth is the program coordinator for the Alzheimer's Association Delaware Valley chapter, which is South New Jersey. And she has her BA in Communications and Master's in Education and was a teacher and a coach before spending most of her career as a trainer of professionals in the field of disabilities. She manages she managed large-scale change management projects, engaged and developed in curriculum for human services and governmental agencies, and presented on a wide array of local and national conferences, and developed and implemented strategies for volunteer recruitment and relationship, building across a large geographic region. And she has been a lifelong advocate for those that are often viewed as marginalized and underserved. Mary Beth has spent several years living and caring for her own mother who had Alzheimer's disease. So welcome, Mary Beth. How are you doing today?
Thanks, Lori. I'm doing well. Thank you very much.
Well, I'm so excited to have you on this conversation today, and I have to thank you. I had a ball when I went to New Jersey last time, and I'm expecting nothing less this next time as well. So thanks for including me and pulling me back in. Really do appreciate that very much. I'm going to introduce Mary Beth's sidekick, who is Ryan Chapman, and Champion. And he is the sales director at the Shores, which is a United Methodist community. He has worked at the Shores for 14 years, and Ryan started with them as one of their people on their dietary team, and then he moved into the community life department where he held all the sales positions that they have and in their community. And it's nice to see someone who has stuck with the company and who truly loves their work. And how lucky are their residents to have Ryan at the Shores on their team. Welcome, Ryan, to the show. How are you doing today?
Thank you, Lori. I'm doing well, and thank you for having us. We're very excited to be on with you today.
Well, I am thrilled to have you and Mary Beth on, and we're going to talk about what you guys are doing. But before we go there, I always like to ask my guests, have they been personally touched by dementia in their family or circle of friends or even coworkers? And Ryan, if you wouldn't mind answering that one first.
Absolutely. Yeah, so my great-grandparents on both sides, my great-grandfathers, I should say, on both sides of my family were actually, they did have dementia and some cognitive issues, but I was very young, so I didn't quite understand. But once again, as you mentioned, me being here in this community for 14 years, I've seen a lot of residents who have suffered from the disease, and they become my family. You learn so much about them. And then when you see that they are, struck, with these issues, it really hits home. So that's really, as far as being touched personally by dementia, that's where it stands. It's all of my residents here who have been touched by it as well. But once again, I think we do a very good job at handling it. Of course, we'll get into that. But that's my personal touch on it.
Okay, great. Thank you. Mary Beth, can you tell us a little bit more about your journey with your mom? And maybe there were others too.
Sure, Lori. So my mom had Alzheimer's disease for 11 years. My family and I lived with her until she passed in December of 17. So I know firsthand how how the disease affects the person with the disease, but also the caretaker and the families. And also in my circle of friends, it's touched several of my friends' parents as well and grandparents as far as the disease is concerned. So I've been heavily involved with the disease, and as far as caretaker and family member, and as far as working with the association as well.
Yeah, it's hard not to be touched. I was watching a video the other day with Lisa Genova. I think she had done a TED Talk. I think that's what I was watching, and she was talking about statistics and, as we age, and said, 1 out of 2 is going to end up having dementia, and she had people paired up in the audience, and she said, now decide who's got it. And then, they would all point to the other person. Well, you have it, and she says, okay, then you're the caregiver. And then there was this big,
wow.
There's really no escaping this disease. And, it takes a lot more than one person to care for a person with dementia, especially as they progress. And it really is about building a team and getting educated ahead of time so that you're prepared. And then continuing that education and that support, I think, is so valuable. So, Brian, can you tell us a little bit about the Shores of the United Methodist Communities? What are you all about? What do you have to offer there?
Absolutely. So, United Methodist Communities as an organization, we are a nonprofit, faith-based community. We have 4 full-service communities throughout the state of New Jersey. We also have 5 communities that are low-income HUD housing. And then in northern Jersey, we're very fortunate to have Homeworks, which is our home care company, which hopefully at some point will be migrating down south. But as far as the Shore specifically, we are an active residential assisted living community, and I'm very blessed to have different neighborhoods throughout. So, of course, we have the residential and the assisted living, but I also have a neighborhood dedicated to palliative and hospice care, a neighborhood dedicated as a nursing home. I offer rehab. And, of course, most importantly, I do offer 2 different neighborhoods dedicated to memory care, which we actually call tapestries. And they are certified through Comfort Matters, which was a national accreditation we had gone through about a year or so ago, that is just providing education not only to our memory neighborhood associates, but all the employees throughout the entire community. And you kind of hit, the nail on the head there, Lori. It takes a team to deal with this, and that's why we're educating all of our staff to be able to deal with dementia and cognition issues and the disease. So we have a lot going on here at the Shores, but that's a little bit in a nutshell.
Great. Well, and I know as I go around the country, people tell me all the time even their assisted living and even in their market rate, many of them say, 60 to 80% of their residents they feel are showing some signs and some symptoms, maybe haven't been diagnosed yet and are still able to live independently, but they're viewing those things. And it's just a nice way that staff can be able to support family. Absolutely. And people who are going through that, because not everybody has family or is living with someone to care for them. And I think that's a big thing that society forgets about. There are a lot of people that live alone and that have been dislodged from their families for whatever reason and are very, very isolated. And we've got to include all of them. Now, Mary Beth, you work for the Alzheimer's Association, and you would think everybody knows what you guys do, but I can tell you they don't because most people who haven't been touched by dementia a lot of times don't know about you. They might go, oh, they're doing a walk because they saw that on the news, but they don't really know what services you provide. So can you tell our audience what types of services that you do provide in South Delaware or Southern New Jersey?
Sure, Lori. So we have our helpline number, which is 1-800-272-3900. That call center is staffed 24 hours a day, and it's staffed by specially trained dementia experts to answer questions and provide information and supports, referrals, general guidance for folks. So it's important to know that number and know that it's available 24/7. So if you're up at night at 2 o'clock in the morning, you're having an issue with your family member, your loved one, and you just need somebody to talk to, it's a great number to call and just have a conversation with a dementia trained expert. We also have memory cafes and I know that many chapters do have them across the country, and it's best just to go online at alz.org for their local memory cafe. You can just punch in your zip code, and it will pop up the memory cafes in your area. You can also call the 800 number, and they can give you the ones that are closest to you as well. We have educational events such as conferences for caregivers, professionals, and family members, and they vary from region to region but are generally offered in each chapter. There are many free programs, such as the one we're discussing today that you're doing in Ocean City that we're very excited about. So we're excited about having the free programs as well as the paid conferences that folks attend. We also have care consultations, which is an in-depth, personalized service for individuals and families who are facing many decisions and challenges associated with Alzheimer's disease and related disorders. So that's more of a sit-down meeting with your family members and your close friends. That could also be done via phone call as well. And the last thing we have is research, which I think most people know. We do a lot of research, and that's where a lot of our money is going today, as far as trying to find a cure.
Wonderful. I have to tell you that I have heard so many compliments about people calling in and talking to your coaches and just your helpline. People said they just saved my life. I was at my wits' end. I can't tell you how many times I've heard that. Just a phenomenal resource. And so, don't hesitate to reach out if you're in need. That's why these services are there. Ryan, I want to ask you, why did the Shores decide to collaborate with the Alzheimer's Association on this event that we're all doing? Oops, let me see. I put Ryan on mute. That's my fault. Okay, Ryan, you can start all over again.
That's okay. I would say absolutely. I mean, there's so many different reasons in why we teamed up with Mary Beth and her team. As she just said, I mean, she has. But for us specifically, we had just expanded our Tapestries Memory Neighborhood. We were originally 28 apartments, and we expanded to 50. So we want to try to set ourselves up as as also, I should say, memory experts, dementia care experts in this community. Once again, it takes the team. It takes all different people. It takes resources to educate our folks out in the greater community. So once we expanded, and I had the opportunity to speak with Mary Beth, and we had known each other briefly. We saw each other at some events, and I thought she was going to be a great resource, once again, with her team and all of the insight and education she has. Honestly, it was a no-brainer for me to want to team up with her. I have the space. She has the education, and we just want the people to come and enjoy what it is that we have to offer.
That's fantastic. When I go around the country, sometimes I see that it's still just this fear of collaboration. No, we have to be different. We have to be separate. And, what I have seen repeatedly through the people in need is they want the collaborations. They want
Definitely.
to know that there's, friendly gatherings and that everybody's working for the greater good and that they're not feeling pulled to pick one or two. And they don't want to be viewed as I'm trying to think of my word. I'm losing it. They don't want to be viewed as an asset that you own, and sometimes we make people feel that way. So these collaborations are really important on many, many levels, because I think it makes it easier for people to reach out and get involved, and they see the greater need. And I think it's just beautiful that you guys are doing that. Now, Mary Beth, I know as the Alzheimer's Association, you guys collaborate with a lot of just communities. I'm assuming you just haven't handpicked Ryan and his community, that you work with some others as well.
We do try to work collaboratively and create a sense of community. We see and hear all the time from police, fire, first responders, banks, store clerks, etc., that all have a need to understand customers with dementia. And the more familiar people are in general, the more safe that we become. And in the field, we are collaborating. For example, I could take a helpline call from someone that needs to know about assisted living. So having collaborated with Ryan, then I have firsthand experience to make a personal introduction and assist that family member with what it is that I know and introduce them to Ryan. So the event is a perfect example of what we can, how we can collaborate.
That's fantastic. And you mentioned police and fire and the whole thing. Are you guys have you created dementia-friendly community specifically out in your area, Ryan?
I think so, but it's also something that we are wanting to further. And the first responders is an awesome resource to tap into because they are dealing with our folks with dementia on a daily basis, and just not to go too crazy about it, but the patience part of it all, just for starters, is very important. So we are trying to build that sense of education once again with Mary Beth's help and the education that we have here. We want to reach out to the greater community and say, hey, look, we are the experts here. You need help. We can help you.
Mm-hmm. Because those dementia-friendly grassroots, and then there's the formal Dementia-Friendly America group out there too, are just making such significant impacts, in their communities nowadays. And it's been fun to be part of and to see how cities and libraries and districts, kind of major entities within a community are teaming up with businesses like yours and many others and associations like the Alzheimer's Association to really, pull those programs together. And it is a great way to be able to position yourself, kind of as a key leader there. Mary Beth, are you aware of very much as far as dementia-friendly communities in New Jersey at all?
We are, Lori. As a matter of fact, we established a task force. We had our second meeting just a couple days ago. We've applied to Dementia Friendly America to become a Dementia Friendly New Jersey. We submitted our application. We're waiting for our response. We've got support from, we're starting in Atlantic and Cape May counties. That's our target. And then expand through the rest of the counties in New Jersey, but Atlantic and Cape May counties are going to be our pilot counties. So we have a resolution from our Board of Chosen Freeholders in Atlantic County. We have support from our Senator Brown. So we have a lot of support around this. We're in the midst right now of writing a strategic plan and moving forward with this.
Oh, fantastic! That's exciting news. It takes a while putting all those pieces together, but it's just I always find it, you just feel kind of that bubbling sense of kind of passion in the room of people wanting to move forward and people connecting who might not have known one another prior to that. So that's great. Ryan, I want you to talk a little bit about the upcoming events, and then I'll have Mary Beth kick in a little more on that as well. But if you wouldn't mind telling people about the events coming up and when they are. And
for sure, we have a lot going on, especially in the way of dementia care, and the theme of today is once again spreading the awareness. So I have actually partnered with the Ocean City Free Public Library, and I have a speaker series that's going to be going on there in their lecture hall. So I have some dates here on Wednesday, March 20th. From 6 p.m. to 7 p.m., I have one of our topics is going to be biology and basics, basic biology and features of Alzheimer's and disease and other related dementias. Then Wednesday, April 17th, I have another one going on, same time, 6 p.m. to 7 p.m., diagnosis and decisions, know the signs, benefits of a proper diagnosis, staging and prognosis. We're going to review current treatment options, what quote-unquote treatment means, and a palliative comfort approach to care. And then lastly, for the speaker series on Wednesday, May 15th, 6 p.m. to 7 p.m., making the most of your time together, builds on practical tools for the caregiving toolbox, reality orientation versus validation therapy, dealing with communication difficulties and distress, including finding joy and reminiscing therapy. Once again, those are going to be held at the Ocean City Free Public Library. But, of course, our very, very big event with Lori will be, we have a couple things going on, of course, with you, Lori. On Wednesday, April 10th, you're going to be offering 2 workshops, one at 9 a.m. to 12 p.m., the other from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. It's going to be Understanding Alzheimer's and Dementia, and then also a day in the life of dementia. So we're excited there. And then the following day, Thursday, April 11th, there will be 2 screenings of the film A Timeless Love, a film about love, devotion, and Alzheimer's. 2 screenings, 10 a.m. and 12 p.m., and 6 p.m. and 8 p.m. So once again, we got a lot going on in the way of dementia care.
Oh, that's fantastic. Now, Mary Beth, the Alzheimer's Association is actually going to be doing the Understanding Dementia piece. Can you tell people a little bit more on what they could expect from that?
Sure. It's going to be basic understanding of Alzheimer's and dementia, the differences between what dementia and what Alzheimer's is, and sort of what people need to learn about the journey of going through dementia.
Wonderful. You've got a nice variety, Ryan, in terms of what all you are providing, people. I think it'll be really, really very, very interesting. And, for my part, in terms of, the a day in the life of dementia, we're going to try to get into some of the nitty-gritty of real-life experiences and shifting perceptions. Talk about our word choices because they impact our outcomes and our actions and things. And so I think they'll be able to get a lot out of all of these sessions. And then the film itself, for those of you who aren't familiar with the film His Neighbor Phil, it was written and developed here in Rochester, Zumbrota, Minnesota, and it is a film that features a family that's dealing with young onset, a woman who has dementia. Her husband is still working. She's not able to work anymore. The family and friends care for her, and you just see this whole ripple effect of how one person affects so many lives. And you'll see one daughter has stayed back to help care for her mom. The other one has left and just kind of pops in. It shows her siblings, her mother, again, friends, and in how they're all trying to help in their different ways, which I know even as a family member myself, I didn't always appreciate other people's ways. I kind of thought I had it down, and I wanted my brothers to be like me, and that kind of stunts growth in terms of life experience. But when you are trying so hard to care for somebody the best you can, you kind of get stuck in this tunnel vision. And this film, I think, really opens that up and shows that there are many different ways to care, and that it really takes all of us, and we all learn and grow in different progressions, and that all comes out. And I think if you come to the film, you will see probably yourself and or others in that film as well. Now, Mary Beth, you saw the film before. What were some of your thoughts? And do you remember any reactions from the audience?
The audience, there were some nurses in the audience that felt like they just wished they could bring their whole nursing department to see the movie. They felt so fortunate that they were able to see it. So the messages were really strong. Lots of tears and smiles. It brought lots of emotions out in people.
Yeah, it really does. And a lot of times people can't even speak for the first 5 to 10 minutes, and then I'm able to fill in with my own family experience and my reactions to the film. And my gosh, I've shown this film and done screenings I bet 300 times, and every time I see the film, I see something different because I'm a different person. Different things have impacted me in my life, or I'm in a different mood, and I just saw something more intensely that I didn't see last time. So it's kind of been surprising to me how many times I've seen the film and have different reactions to it. The other thing is one of the things that I love that Ryan's doing is we're doing the movie twice, because so many times people come to the movie and they want to bring other people back. So doing it on April 11th from 10 to noon, you'll be able to come back 6 to 8 with somebody else as well. But you might just want to plan on that actually. So because it is very important. And then, of course, during the educational programs, there'll be some time for Q&A and stuff as well. And I'll be more than glad to stick around and answer questions even after the event if need be on that. Now, Mary Beth, you are taking the RSVPs, if I'm not mistaken, for the event. Is that correct?
Correct. And people
Okay.
are very enthusiastic about you coming back to New Jersey, Lori. And we do still have seats available, and listeners should call either the 800 number or go to alz.org and register.
Okay. Can you give them the 800 number? Do you know that offhand?
Sure. 1-800-272-3900.
Okay. And then location for this, Ryan, is where?
Yes, so it's going to be at 2201 Bay Avenue, and that's in Ocean City, New Jersey, 08226.
Okay. Anything else that either of you want to chime in about? Anything that we missed regarding this event, Ryan?
I don't think so. I think one big goal that Mary Beth and I have is to, bring people in to see this event. We're excited to have you, Lori, and all the education that you offer. We just want to continue to further educate the community and, and help the best way we can. We were saying in times of need, in times of crisis, you can call us to help assist you, and we're very accommodating and understanding to, what's going on. But we are very excited.
Wonderful. Thank you. Mary Beth, anything else you want to add? I just wanted to mention that we were really trying to work with folks that were working and folks that were possibly retired and at home with the times. So that's why we did a morning and an evening presentation for both the education portion and the movie portion to really make it flexible so that people really could have flexibility in attending the event.
Okay, great. Now, contact information is listed on the radio page and on the blog, but I want to just state that for those of you that might just be listening or running around the lake getting in your exercise here. It's the Alzheimer's Association Delaware Valley chapter in South Jersey. Their address, if you want to write to them, is 25 Dolphin Avenue, Building D on the ground floor in Northfield, New Jersey, 08225. Their Mary Beth's phone number is 215-561-2919, extension 8962. And then that helpline, make sure you jot this one down, is 800-272-3900. That's 800-272-3900. And again, that's the same number you would call to register for these events. And then Ryan Champion, why do I keep wanting to call you Chapman? I don't know. Sorry about that, Ryan.
It's okay.
Ryan Champion is with United Methodist Communities, and the events will be taking place at 2201 Bay Avenue. That's 2201 Bay Avenue in Ocean City, New Jersey, 08226. And their main office there is 609-399-8505. That's 609-399-8505. And you can also reach Ryan if you would like to by email, and that's rchampion@umcommunities.org. That's rchampion@umcommunities.org. And of course, their website is the shores, plural, .umcommunities.org. And Ryan, I would imagine that you do tours if somebody wants to come out and kind of check check the place out and see what you're all about. Is that correct, or am I misstepping there?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You can give us a call and schedule a tour. We even take walk-ins. We'd be more than happy to show you around the beautiful campus that we have here.
Great. Well, thank you both for joining us today. And wrapping up, I'm just going to give a shout out to Care to Plan, which is a new dementia resource directory that I'm really excited about. You can check that out, just a sampling of it at alzheimersspeaks.com, and just push on the resource directory there. I have to go in and do some updates because we just rolled some new things out there. And then I also just want to mention, we just did a show yesterday, and we had Dr. Neil Barnard on and Dr. Neil Nedley, and they are actually going to be up in Rochester doing a symposium that's absolutely fantastic. It's 2 days long, and then they're doing a third intensive day as well. But the show itself was so packed with great information regarding lifestyle. And they talk about anxiety, depression, dementia, and food are kind of the main topics there. And it hit a lot of buttons for very many people. And I highly recommend listening to that. In the meantime, I want to thank you all for listening. And again, appreciate your follows, likes, and shares. And have a wonderful week. We'll talk soon. And I can't wait to come out to New Jersey again. It'll be a lot of fun. So thank you both, Ryan and Mary Beth, for hosting me. We will see you all in mid-April. Bye now.
Hi, this is Suzanne Newman, host of the Answers for Elders podcast and radio show. We are the North Star that guides you through the complicated journey of senior care with trusted experts in money, law, living solutions, and more. So join us on this station, your favorite podcast channel, or just go to AnswersForElders.com. Meet the Wayshowers who will help your journey go a lot easier.